effort and energy take you? How much performance can you get out of a machine? Texaco has the answer in System 3 gasolines. System 3 helps remove harmful engine deposits in all octane grades to improve performance with the energy to run stronger, smoother, cleaner. The energy to go further.
Cops say he used the personal ads for personal gain and conned women by claiming he was a handsome and wealthy male model.
Tonight at 7. Do blondes really have more fun? Tonight at 7:30.
President Bush tries to appease the right wing on a big primary day as Bill Clinton gets his first win and Paul Tsongas proves he's more than a one-trick pony.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw, reporting tonight from NBC News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. This is the most important day so far in the long 92 presidential campaign, and we are projecting tonight Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton, the winner in the Georgia primary, the solid win that Clinton was looking for in his home region, the South, and Paul Tsongas, our projected winner in Maryland. The former Massachusetts senator is showing strength tonight beyond his home turf of New England. The polls in Colorado are just closing with what appears to be a very tight race among the Democrats there, Clinton, Tsongas, and Jerry Brown. However, the contest in Colorado, Georgia, Maryland, and 4 other states today will likely leave Clinton and Tsongas atop the Democratic pack, with former Governor Jerry Brown still a force to be reckoned with. On the Republican side, NBC News projects President Bush the winner in Georgia, despite another strong showing from conservative Patrick Buchanan. The president is the projected winner tonight in Maryland as well. And with voting just ended in Colorado, Bush is the projected winner there with what appears to be a 2-to-1 victory. The president is urgently trying to blunt Buchanan's challenge from the right and to get off the defensive. We have NBC's John Cochran with the president tonight. Andrea Mitchell is covering the Democrats. John, let's begin with you and the president's spin out of the White House tonight.
Tom, in a written statement tonight, the president admitted that a lot of voters who usually would have supported him did not vote for him today, but he blames that on discontent with all Washington politicians. Even so, some Bush aides admit privately that a lot of that protest vote is aimed at George Bush.
Faced with a stiff conservative challenge, the president suddenly admitted that breaking his no new taxes pledge was the worst mistake of his presidency. Today's Atlanta Journal quotes Bush as saying, "Listen, if I had to do that over, I wouldn't do it. Look at all the flack it's taking," adding that the tax increase has brought him political grief. Today, the president tried to soften that, saying he is worried not only about his political fate, but about new attempts in Congress to raise taxes and spending.
I thought this one compromise, and it was a compromise, would result in no more tax increases.
Pat Buchanan couldn't wait to say, "I told you so."
Why then all this criticism of Pat Buchanan when I've criticized the tax hike if he agrees with me?
I'm saying to myself, given all these attacks and given those facts, hey, this is a mistake. Everybody's entitled to one. I'm not going to make another one up.
It's not only a cocky Pat Buchanan, but Ronald Reagan who thinks Bush blew it with the tax increase. Reagan backs Bush, but limited picture-taking during their meeting last week to this photo. Even so, Bush mentioned Reagan's name twice today as he courted the religious right during a taxpayer-paid trip to a convention of evangelicals in Chicago. Conservatives have never trusted Bush, even though after becoming Reagan's number 2, he switched to Reagan's positions on women's rights and abortion. Today, Bush promised to block pro-choice legislation now in Congress.
It would impose on all 50 states an unprecedented regime of abortion on demand going well beyond even Roe versus Wade. This is not right. And it will not become law as long as I am President of the United States of America.
And just how long that will be is, of course, the big question. Tonight, Bush campaign aides hope that the only message voters sent today is that they are unhappy, not that they're really fed up. Tom?
Thank you, John. And NBC's Andrea Mitchell on the Democratic side. Clinton and Tsongas are emerging tonight as the clear frontrunners. Andrea, you've been tracking their strategy.
Tom, today's voting not only gave Bill Clinton his first big victory, Paul Tsongas also proved by winning in Maryland that he could compete outside New England. Having won in Maryland and showing strength in Colorado and Washington State, Tsongas was calling himself the breakthrough kid, claiming he's no longer a regional candidate.
From what we hear, we're doing quite well. And in Maryland, which was the battleground, if these numbers hold, we'll have a very convincing victory. So I think we've broken through barriers that were alleged to have existed.
Clinton hopes his Georgia win will give him momentum for next week's big Southern primaries. He views it now as a two-man race. He attacked Tsongas repeatedly today as a throwback to Reagan-Bush economics.
And now we're having a fight in the Democratic Party with somebody who says the same thing. Growth first, fairness later. Bull, we never had growth without fairness, and we never will.
Tsongas had made Maryland a crucial test, going there immediately after his New Hampshire victory.
It's no accident that this is where I came first. Maryland is critical.
His economic message caught on with better-educated suburban whites. He had difficulty connecting to Maryland's black voters, a quarter of the electorate. In Maryland and Georgia, where a third of the voters are black, Tsongas campaigned hard, trying to bridge the gap. But most blacks felt more comfortable with Clinton, a son of the South. Tsongas did surprise party leaders in Georgia by being tougher and funnier than they'd expected. But to most Southerners, he was at best unknown, at worst a foreigner.
I'd like to know if you're a Christian.
No, I sure am.
Glad to know it.
Clinton, on the other hand, knew the language of the region.
For the thing that got me interested in politics as a child was the idea that the discrimination of my native South was wrong.
Today, Clinton was already campaigning in Florida, courting votes he will need next week on Super Tuesday. Tsongas was hoping a good showing, if not a win, in Colorado and Washington will enhance his national image. Jerry Brown was touting his strength in Colorado to prove he's still a contender.
We think we're now in a position to challenge the frontrunners, Mr. Clinton and Mr. Tsongas.
In fact, Brown did well enough in Colorado to regain eligibility for federal matching funds. All but out of the race, Tom Harkin hanging on to the slim hope of a win in Minnesota. Also way behind, Bob Kerrey hoping to survive in case one of the others stumbles. Tom?
Thanks, Andrea. And as this campaign heats up, so do the claims in the candidates' commercials. In some cases, they're overheated. NBC's Lisa Myers tonight with a fact check of the latest round of commercials.
Pat Buchanan has been hammering George Bush with an ad attacking the National Endowment for the Arts.
In the last 3 years, the Bush administration has invested our tax dollars in pornographic and blasphemous art. Too shocking to show.
That's misleading. First, the Bush administration had absolutely nothing to do with the film in this ad. It was produced with $5,000 from a grant bestowed during the Reagan administration. And there's another problem.
The Buchanan ad distorts the record of the National Endowment for the Arts by suggesting that this film is a typical instance of funding. It's not.
The vast majority of NEA money supports groups like the Chicago Symphony and programs such as Live from Lincoln Center. The Bush campaign also has taken liberties with ads trumpeting the president's leadership.
Now he has an agenda to strengthen our economy and make America more competitive in the world, to change welfare and make the able-bodied work.
That's misleading. Here's why.
In the 3 years he's been president, he's not submitted a single significant proposal in the welfare reform area.
Another Bush ad also generated controversy.
When Pat Buchanan opposed Desert Storm, it was a disappointment to all military people.
Wait a minute. Today, the Buchanan campaign produced a speech General Kelly made in December 1990 when troops already were in the Gulf, in which he seems to oppose going to war. Kelly claims he was quoted out of context.
I have supported President Bush from the day he gave the first order to deploy forces to the Gulf until the last day of the war.
Now the Democrats. Paul Tsongas, who preaches honesty, plays fast and loose with the truth in attacking his rival's support for a middle-class tax cut.
And they want to give us a tax credit that they're going to have to borrow for my children.
That's misleading. Both Bill Clinton and Bob Kerrey would pay for their tax cuts by raising taxes on the rich.
That means there's no cost to our children.
In this latest round of ads, the theme seems to be distraction, distortion, and deception. And as the stakes get higher, it's likely to get worse. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
When Nightly News continues in a moment, some fair weather signs for the national economy. Finally.
With its powerful 16-valve engine, double wishbone suspension system, anti-lock brakes, and a driver's side airbag, just think of it as a wagon. Think of it as an Accord with a bit more space.
Special Accord leases are now available. See your nearest Honda dealer for details.
After my heart attack, my doctor prescribed a regimen of exercise, eating right, and Therapy Bear enteric aspirin. Enteric means it's safety coated so it doesn't dissolve till it's past your stomach.
Therapy Bear enteric aspirin.
Dear Thompson's, I swear by Thompson's Water Seal, but recently when it ran out, my son finished with another brand. Then it rained. What a difference. Thompson's beat it up, the other brand nothing. Thanks for a product you can believe in. Marvin Snoddy, Locust Grove, Virginia.
Some good economic news tonight, pointing in the direction of a recovery from this recession. However, as NBC's chief financial correspondent Mike Jensen tells us now, a few positive signs do not necessarily make a trend.
The economy is stirring. Companies starting to buy new equipment. Stores reordering, filling stock rooms. The stock market rising. The government's index of leading indicators had its largest increase since last July. Chicago toy maker Dan Schur says business is good and getting better.
We've been pleasantly surprised by how strong business is this early in the year.
Another good sign, new home sales on the rebound. Colorado builder Gary Fredericks loves it.
They're starting to realize that now's the time to buy. If they wait much longer, rates may go up, and pricing will definitely go up.
The nation's purchasing agents said February was a winner.
I think it's not a one-month phenomena. I tend to think there are a lot of good reasons why this will be a sustainable growth.
Another sign of strength, the Business Week Index. Production rising for 5 weeks, leading indicators for 10 weeks. Even Alan Greenspan, chairman of the Fed, was almost optimistic today.
As we look ahead, there are a few hopeful signs, but at this stage, they are quite tentative.
So good news and a word of caution. This has happened before, and the economy has done a U-turn. There does seem to be a modest recovery in the works, but it's both very mild and very reversible. Also, don't look for a quick pickup in hiring. That always comes last, after people start buying more and companies start manufacturing more. And with most companies operating lean and mean, a lot of white-collar positions won't be filled even then. Mike Jensen, NBC News, New York.
And in Seattle, the home of the Major League Mariners, Japan's place in America's pastime is about to be resolved. Major League Baseball owners meet tomorrow to consider an offer from a Japanese-backed syndicate to buy that team. NBC's Keith Morrison is with the Mariners at spring training.
It's an impossibly beautiful day in Tempe, Arizona, and the Seattle Mariners are finally going about the business of working up a baseball team. And oh, if life were so simple. Even here in the sun, it rains. Politics.
It's just an underlying, I think, racist attitude that baseball has, and they have a problem.
As the little knot of die-hard fans watches the team prepare,
the Mariners are safe at home.
And they ought to be, with a dream of a deal. $125 million on offer for a $100 million team.
Triple play! Can we clear this hallway?
They parade the numbers down the halls of New York's skyscrapers and congressional centers of power.
The batting lineup, if you...
Teams of men in suits, boardroom sluggers, battling over the future of Seattle's franchise. And the question, who has a right to own America's game? Could it be a group headed by the owners of Nintendo?
It is not Japanese specific. It is not racial. It is basically a very difficult issue for baseball.
And in Seattle, it seems so obvious. Around here, Nintendo, Japanese or not, is a local company supported in its bid for baseball by a dozen other local companies. What, they ask, could be wrong with that?
What's foreign anymore?
I can't see any difference. I mean, money is money, and as long as we have our team, that's what counts.
But baseball, the American game.
Baseball is not a business like other businesses.
And the Nintendo deal is a problem the baseball owners hate. and say insiders will almost certainly kill.
Statement, and the statement will speak for itself.
And so, on yet another perfect day in Tempe, Arizona, the Seattle Mariners prepare for what many here fear could be their last season as the Seattle Mariners. And how do they feel about that?
We're just looking for somebody to keep a team in Seattle.
It's a beautiful place to live and a nice place to raise children. And although Florida's nice too.
So it is, and it's quite possibly the next home of the Mariners. Keith Morrison, NBC News, Tempe, Arizona.
It was not Japan bashing, insisted South Carolina Senator Ernest Hollings, but in a speech Monday, Hollings did suggest to blue-collar workers that they draw a mushroom cloud and caption it "Made in America" by lazy and illiterate Americans and tested in Japan. Today, Hollings said he was just defending against America bashing. On Wall Street, today's upbeat economic news sent stocks to their 14th record high this year, and trading today was heavy.
Because some aches and pains don't go away when the lights go out, we've created Tylenol PM. Specially formulated with extra strength Tylenol pain reliever for those aches and pains that can keep you up at night. Plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep. So you can wake up refreshed in the morning. From the name you trust comes Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
To get rid of her gray, my wife can spend 40 minutes. But I discovered the 5-minute hair coloring.
The revolutionary discovery called Just for Men from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men and in 5 minutes shampoo out.
Gray is blended away. The look of my natural color is back in 5 minutes. That was me, and it won't fade or wash out.
My hair takes forever, but you look great in just 5 minutes.
The look of your natural color in just 5 minutes with Just for Men.
Paradise surrounds me. There's no place like this on land. Oh, my cares, they're behind me. The world's in my command.
One cruise line has been named best in passenger satisfaction 10 years in a row. Royal Caribbean, the grand resorts of the 7 seas.
Our daily difference now, crime and punishment. It was 1 year ago today that Rodney King was severely beaten by Los Angeles policemen. The incident was made notorious by a bystander's home video. Police brutality became topic A across this country. A federal investigation was ordered. But has anything changed? NBC's Ed Rabel tonight.
Videotape of the beating, broadcast repeatedly, caught Los Angeles policemen in the act and stunned the nation.
What I saw made me sick.
President Bush and then Attorney General Dick Thornburgh promised an unprecedented investigation of police brutality.
Law enforcement officials cannot place themselves above the law that they are sworn to defend.
But 1 year after the beating, the Justice Department still will not reveal the results of its sweeping nationwide review of 15,000 complaints of police misconduct. Critics charge that the department is covering up for the police.
You're in a fraternity. You don't squeal on one another. The code is silence.
At this point, we're not disclosing any of the specifics. Why not? Because it's an ongoing review, and I think when the overall assessment and review is done, there will be an amplification and identification of the departments that have problems.
California resident Patricia Wilmoth was one of those who complained to the federal government. 2 years ago, a sheriff's deputy allegedly beat and choked her while arresting her on charges of interfering at the scene of an accident. The charges against her were dropped.
Here you go, kid. Come on down.
But she still needs physical therapy and is suing the sheriff's department. She says the FBI promised to investigate. Yet neither she nor her husband has heard anything from the FBI agent who interviewed them, they say.
He sat in this chair and explained that we needed to understand that this was, after all, a conflict of interest for him due to the fact that these were, in fact, fellow officers who he might be dependent upon possibly in the next few weeks as backup.
Citizens complained almost 10,000 times about civil rights abuses by police and others last year. But in only 68 of those cases did the Justice Department file charges. In this case, charges of brutality will be heard by a California state jury beginning Thursday. But the jury's still out on which police departments are the worst offenders nationwide. The Justice Department has the information, but says it may not release it for a year or more. Ed Rabel, NBC News, Washington.
When Nightly News continues, new evidence of a massacre in the former Soviet Union, and John Chancellor on who voted today and why.
Hello. I'd like to talk to you about an invisible problem. The invisible bacteria that cause nasty denture odor. Fortunately, antibacterial Effident not only cleans the stains you can see, it kills the odor-causing bacteria you can't for clean, fresh dentures. So while the problem may be invisible, the solution is clearly evident. Darling, we're on TV.
Antibacterial Effident cleans what you can see and what you can't.
The grasshopper and the ants. There are those who spend little time thinking about what may lie ahead. Others realize tomorrow is here before you know it. They plan diligently, save and invest, an approach Merrill Lynch recommends. Our mutual funds help you prepare for the future. Our financial consultants can show you how. The moral is, tomorrow's comforts require today's preparation.
Store brands for some things, but when it comes to pain relievers, I'm glad she still uses Advil. I trust it, and I know it helps.
Here, Mom. Oh, thanks. Now I'll feel better. What's this?
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Call me a trendsetter, but I was eating wheat thins before people knew why they were baked and not fried. Now everybody knows who needs a greasy chip, right? Besides, wheat thins are delicious. Delicious is still in, isn't it?
Guess which of these fruits, ounce for ounce, has the most vitamins and minerals? Yep, the California prune.
Sweet, delicious California prunes. Find out how good they really are.
More dramatic testimony today in the New York City trial of reputed mob boss John Gotti. The government's chief witness, Salvatore Gravano, Sammy the Bull, once Gotti's closest confidant. He told a federal court jury about the killing of Gotti's predecessor, Paul Castellano, about how Gotti not only planned the hit, but that they watched from a car as Castellano and his driver were gunned down. Then, said Gravano, they calmly drove past the bullet-riddled bodies. John Chancellor's with us now. He's taking a look at who's voted today and why. John?
Tom, we polled voters in Georgia, Maryland, and Colorado, and we've got about two-thirds of that poll in. Overall, we learned that the gender gap still exists. American women voters don't like Pat Buchanan very much. We had learned that in New Hampshire, and we learned it in 3 states today. The president is being hurt by Buchanan, but the wounds are not mortal. Biggest Buchanan vote was in Georgia. Many Democratic voters would like another candidate, and the cancer that Paul Tsongas once had is no longer a problem for him, while the draft evasion problems, issues that haunted Bill Clinton for a while was no problem for him. In Georgia, the economy was a big issue. Pat Buchanan got some Democrats and independent voters to cross over and vote in the Republican primary. We're not sure how important that will be for him. The president's job rating was low in Georgia among Republicans. That hurt him. Bill Clinton did very well with blacks in his native South. In Maryland, the economy, there was a big send a message vote on Bush. Many of those people will vote Democratic this fall. Tsongas was helped by his stand on the economy. The big surprise tonight is Jerry Brown's competitive position in the Colorado primary. He's doing very well. Kerry and Harkin in these 3 states, not so well. The president today was bruised, the Democrats are still confused, and the voters feel abused. Tom?
Thank you, Rapmaster John Chancellor tonight. When we return, Mardi Gras time in Cajun country.
Fingerman here for the one and only Ziploc. Something fishy going on in your refrigerator? Nothing Everything works like Ziploc brand storage bags. Ziploc has the Gripper Zipper, the only bag with tough, tiny teeth. You can feel it gripping, so you know freshness is locked in, odor is locked out. That's a special feeling you get from Ziploc. Sorry I had to point fingers there, fella. For fresh food, there's only one, Ziploc.
Good morning.
Hope they like me.
Getting ready. A teacher's best has got to shine through. Folgers wakes up the best in you.
Folgers Crystals, mountain-grown, fresh brewed, then custom ground into crystals. Don't worry, they'll love you. It's not how you make the coffee, but how the coffee makes you feel.
Opening eyes, opening doors, taking the morning and making it yours. Folgers wakes up the best in you.
Economic news today.
If the help wanted ads are the first part of the paper you read, then don't overlook this ad on TV.
Hello, I'm News 8 consumer editor Tom Fuller. Tomorrow on News 8 at 5, I'll profile people like you or ones that you know who are looking for work and finding hope, help, and smart solutions. What do they know that you don't? Well, I'll tell you about finding that job for life tomorrow on News 8 at 5.
You rode the same rides, ate the same junk, got the same heartburn. But his antacid's different from yours. His Tums has calcium. Most antacids don't. Regular Rolaids uses an aluminum salt. This uses aluminum and magnesium. So does this. Of all these, only Tums helps wipe out heartburn and gives you calcium you need every day.
Something my body needs anyway. I like that.
Calcium-rich Tums.
Say Mardi Gras, think Louisiana. Say Louisiana, think Cajuns. Mardi Gras ends tonight, but the Cajun spirit, it continues. And now there's a little blue dog to lead them. Confused? Here's NBC's Mike Betcher.
Knowing from where you came helps you get to where you're going. Otherwise, observed one old Cajun, you'll drift aimlessly, like a feather. During Mardi Gras, at least, most Cajuns adhere to tradition. The rest of the year, art, food, music, and myth must serve as the culture signposts. And now a little blue mutt is becoming a guide dog for those trying to find their way to Acadiana, Louisiana's Cajun country. The blue dog is George Rodrigues' Black and Redfish, a cultural billboard which draws the gaze of Cajun and non-Cajuns.
And he's trying to come back and find me.
Blue is meant to be the ghost of Rodrigues' now-deceased pet, Tiffany. With its ghostly gaze, it wanders through a series of paintings as it tries to find its way back home.
The blue dog has his own journey, and he sort of left the Cajuns and finding his own way around the world and taking a little Cajun culture with him.
For people who once were considered backward swamp folk, the Cajuns have developed an uncanny knack for exporting their culture. Hot sauce, Cajun cooking and music, and now the blue dog are hot items in the fickle world marketplace. A.J. LeBlanc and Roy Broussard believe life dealt the Cajuns a lemon, and they made it into something sweet.
And it's like as if someone would give you a lemon. You could stand up there and holler and scream that it's sour, but if you take that lemon and make lemonade, and you come out with something that's worthwhile.
We're not looked down upon anymore, and we don't care whether we are or not. We know how we feel.
But Veronica Rodrigues, the artist's wife, and herself a Cajun, wonders if the Cajun boom can last.
The surest sign that a culture is dying is this resurgence of interest in trying to bring it all back again.
Acadiana's heart is still beating strongly, though. Even though the blue dog didn't find its way to Mardi Gras to see his master on the King's float, it was here in spirit. Mike Betcher, NBC News, Lafayette, Louisiana.
That's Nightly News for now. I'll be back throughout this evening with updates on these important primaries. We'll have a complete wrap-up tonight immediately following your late local news. So I'll see you then.
She raised her